Hello YouTube, Red to Green here with another recap. Today is January 19th, 2022, and I'm up over $200 again, just like yesterday. Just a little tad less, $202 for the day. Traded way too many stocks. I traded 8 stocks today. The biggest runners for me, well, they're all pretty much the same, but overall, the more gain I got was BKKT, GMVD, SBEV, and then a split between SOFI and VVOS. So these are kind of the larger moves, stocks that happened. Nothing was moving that much, so I was kind of scraping a little bit off of each stock. As you can see, a lot of stocks, 8 stocks traded. Nothing is over $100 for none of the tickers. BBIG is the continuation since last week. I believe we traded it on Friday or Thursday last week, and I kind of start scalping that area too. Yesterday BBIG gave over $180 of profit, so it was a really good scalper. So I was hoping we see that continuation, and I feel like we get that continuation because nothing else is really moving, right? So people are just holding on to stuff a little longer now rather than jumping into something else, right? Before, the stocks usually just last a day or two, and now we see stocks are lasting a week, even sometimes over a week. You remember iSig? That's the, or BFRI, those are the movers, right? DWAC is still a scalpers friendly stock in some way or another, even though it's dying down slowly. We also notice in momentum is dying down, and people's not holding on to their stocks a lot. It's just you see those pops and then sell-offs and range environment, so a lot of choppiness. And you probably heard me say choppy for the past couple weeks now in my recaps, and that's the reality of a market. It's been choppy. So BBIG, nothing really specific, not really an area to be specific, but I did trade the red to green at the open. Tried for that bounce from the 5 break into that 505. I believe I did take that trade. And then those sell-offs are kind of sneaky, and they sneak up on you, and they get you. But as long as you can get up and trade your way back up, that's all good, right? As long as you're able to identify those turnaround points and pullbacks, and that's definitely, there are definitely opportunities on that, even though the moves are a lot smaller, and you kind of trying to get that curl right going and try to trade that break of that curl. So BBIG definitely gave some momentum at the open, first 30 minutes, and then I basically had to go offline at 10 a.m. And I came back after 11, so I definitely lost some of the moves that happened during 10 a.m., but it's okay. I'm not complaining. GMVD was another stock I traded. It actually came in after 11 when I came back, so I started to scalp it. It was a really painful stock, and majority of my trades that happened, and you see I made over 116 trades total today, and it's definitely majority of those trades were in GMVD, and that stock is just painful. It's painful. It was 4 cents to 5 cents spread, 3 cents on average. It's the moves weren't there. The moves were maybe about 10 cents, maybe 7.5. So considering the spread, that's not a lot of movement. Thank God for momentum. Thank God for the strength of that stock, and whoever traded it up until the 670 area, congratulations. There was definitely good opportunities there. I try to trade a backside of it. I try to trade a bounce. So when I'm talking about when I try to trade a bounce, you see you have that spike up here, and then it retraces and it start to kind of settle down here, and almost look like it's gonna do that turnaround. So that's essentially what I was trying to wait. I would wait for that test of new high, and it never happened. So just an FYI, right? Those type of breakout trades, the false breakout, you see that false breakout at 45 into that 49. You know, a lot of people don't scalp, and they just wait for that to turn around and go into the 70. I did scalp it, and I mean, the losses, so you can trade that differently. Your wins, if you scalp, are a lot smaller, right? But you have to consider your losses. Your losses has to be small too. That's why you get out fast if it's not going in your favor. Otherwise, if you hold for this breakout into the 30s, into the down, and you get slippage and you get out at like 29, 27 with a break of 45, you lost 20 cents. But if you're scalping, you're only gaining 7. So now you have to make what, 3-4 trades to gain back that loss. That's not acceptable, right? At least it's okay if you got flushed during your entry because there's nothing you could have done. But if you were waiting for that and just hoping for it to bounce back up 34, I don't know if that's a good idea, because to me a better approach would have been scaling in at that 33, 34 and adding more rather than just waiting for that to retrace back to 45, because at least then if it moves and it crosses that 50 area, at least you're a larger gain versus what your losses are. And that's the goal after all, right? So that was GMVD. BKKT was another interesting stock, and let's go into the BKKT. All right. BKKT, I believe I didn't trade a lot, but what I liked about BKKT, and I believe we were watching it at the market open, is the red to green move. And I did catch that red to green move, and that was kind of nice too. Look at the 5-minute red to green was beautiful. And what I'm noticing, guys, and I don't know if you noticed the same thing, please let me know, but 5-minute chart looks cleaner now versus what it was back in the day when 1 minute looked clean. So for example, last year in the summertime or September time, you used to have 1 minute look like this. Like 1 minute would look like this, like the 5-minute on my right side. Right side is 1 minute, left side is 5 minute. So the 5-minute looks nice, right? You have this clean breakout, clean break of the high, you take profits, get out. Now 1 minute looks like this. My 15-second used to look like 1 minute right now. So that tells you a lot of the different momentum, different ranges that are happening right now. So obviously that's also dictates for changing your strategy, changing the way you trade, changing your take profit targets, changing your holding kind of abilities and all that. So you got to adapt. That's the key for this market. But anyway, BKKT, also a decent $50 move, right? One of the larger move for me today, the second largest. So thankfully it was a decent stock. So, and then it sold off and I left it alone. What's next? Okay, so let's talk about SBEV. SBEV was on another. SBEV. Okay, SBEV also was on watch. And the interesting part about SBEV, and I know Bunman traded it, and what Bunman did is he traded it into that market open, and he was scaling in right before market opened. Okay, right here he was scaling in. I believe he got in about 510, 511. Then he got in at 5, then maybe 490. So what the idea was is it was going to be a bull flag setup on the 1 minute, right? The idea was it's gonna bounce. It's gonna bounce and it's gonna break that, right? So it was looking like it's gonna go, right? This right here, 507. And then you get into 510, and optimally the idea is to wait for that break of previous high, which was at 522. So the take profit would have been around 520, 522 for all his 30,000 shares or whatever. So it's an awesome idea. It does work out, and if it works out, obviously your profit is pretty decent. But it didn't work out. It flushed, and I believe he also scaled in one more time at that flush. And I mean, yeah, he lost money. It's a bit, but it happens. But his wins are usually higher than his losses in terms of when the trade works out. It goes a lot. So like if he's down $7,000, he can be up 20 grand in the next trade. So the total would be 13 in the green. So that's the idea of that trading, which is okay. But if he sees no momentum and the stock is not moving anywhere and he just doesn't want to waste time afterwards, like, I understand it, because majority of the move happens in the first 30 minutes of the market open. So not move, majority of the volume, right, happens on the stocks we trade. And then pre-market, obviously, and there's the reason why he trades pre-market. So pre-market moves are actually happening. So anyway, we can talk about pre-market later. And join me for the 8 p.m., like 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I do like a chill little trading discussion where we just start talking about what happened during the day for other traders and just review overall the mentality and trading strategies and stuff like that. So if you're into that stuff, join me, and please hit the thumbs up button if you don't mind. Doesn't cost you a thing. Helps me a lot though. SOFI was the last one I traded, and that one got me over $200 because I was hovering around 170 for a while, and it's just pissing me off. And SOFI, I traded it, and I was actually trading, hoping for that 25 break. Because the SOFI, the interesting part, somebody in the chat called out that it's easy to borrow, because I tend to like not even think, because Thinkorswim doesn't even have anything easy to borrow, and it was easy to borrow. It was ETB. And usually those stocks, and that's something we're going to talk about too, they tend to squeeze a lot, and I'll tell you why once we have that talk. And just subscribe to my channel and watch for the videos that I release, sometimes the how-tos, if I'm not too lazy, and I'll definitely go into some of the details of why it happens. So anyway, SOFI, it was really hard to read, but once you get a good hang of it, once you get to find a good bottom, it was given opportunities, even though they were tiny, because I was up at $20 and I was down. No, then I was like up $3, so I was losing and gaining, and then all of a sudden you see that momentum pop, and then I get in, and then you gain back that $20. So $27 on it today. Not much, but hey, I'll take it. That's what brought me over the 200 mark. Let's look at VVOS. VVOS, that was, I believe it was also, no, it wasn't. It was kind of, okay, yeah. So VVOS, that was interesting because it popped pre-market and sold off on a low volume. Then it started popping at the open. I didn't take it. Then I think I started to trade when I saw a red to green potential on it. So there was like a bounce of a VWAP, then VWAP flat top here at 222. And I kind of traded at 231, so 10 cents. That's why the gains are not much. I believe I traded 250 shares. You know, it's really hard to keep up and remember what you traded, because first of all, you start early in the day. You don't, and then you have other stuff going on. And if you traded the stock really early in the day, like VVOS, and it's almost 4 o'clock now p.m., and then the day just went by and you traded SOFI at like as a last stock, so that's the thing you remember, and you were focusing on those moves. So it's kind of hard to remember the VVOS. But you can definitely, if you're interested where I traded, how I took the trades, just watch my live recaps, and where I go over. I know they're might not be useful during like a real time view where you can just follow. I would never recommend anybody follow anybody, but essentially the idea here is you'll learn the setups that I trade, you'll learn the technique, and that's what you try to practice. Because the one biggest thing is, it's not about, because there's a lot of education everywhere. There's a lot of, what is the trading, the opening breakout, like opening range breakout, like what you can Google that stuff. There's so many videos, there's so many stuff, there's so many explanations, but to actually see those things getting executed on a daily basis, and how you manage different scenarios, and how you get out of the rut, or how you capitalize on some of the moves, that's important. I feel like that's where the money is. That's where the value is, right? And some people realize that, some people don't, because first of all, a lot of people coming in with a mentality of trading, you have a Lambo sitting, and all you do is just trade for 30 minutes and you gain $30,000. Yeah, look at Bondman. Look at some of the traders. They do that, but go back to the history how they got in there. It didn't. It was challenge and a lot of effort. So I feel like everybody has to go through that. There's no easy cheese. Maybe there is. I don't know. Let me know if there is. All right. I do want to talk about IMTE, which is another stock, but I do want to talk about IMTE a little bit differently, maybe tonight. If I have time, I'll talk about IMTE, because I know Bondman took that stock, and I traded it too. It looked good. because it was setting up for something big. And if I feel like if it worked out, it could have been really nice. So, but unfortunately it didn't. So glad I'm down only $7 on it. So not much. And DWAC, that's freaking insane. I this is the stock you either love or you hate. This is love-hate relationship with that stock. That's at least what I have. When that stock moves, it moves. It moves $3. It moves $2 easy, right? But when this stock just fakes you out and you pay that 60-cent spread, I hate it. I hate it. It's hard for scalping. That 60-cent spread kills me. Really hard to get in. I feel like that's a scale in type of stock where you just take that 25 shares at a time and just keep bumping them, every time the stock sells off, for the hopes to for the stock to turn around and be in that. Like, for example, this let's look at some setups, right? Obviously the stock sold off from a get-go. By the way, you can short these are easy to borrow. So flip that chart upside down and trade those bull flags. Yeah, it's same concept. Anyway, I think I was trading until it started breaking BWAP here. Yeah, it was like look at these setups, right? I was trading this bull flag, I believe. And sometimes you see this false breakout when you miss this bull flag, you set up for another bull flag. And when I'm talking about like this right here, and you start to anticipate that break of 85 and you get in, and guess what, where TOS fills you right at the spot, right at the top. If it's 84, 88 high, you're gonna get in at 88, 84, 88. And if that stock doesn't move, you freaking get out, and it flushes you to 84.40, 84.30, and you 50 cents down. That's the reality of it. You lose $0.50. And the thing is also, if it doesn't move or moves just slightly, because of the high spreads, sometimes the $2 move you only are able to capitalize maybe for $1, so half of that move, just because the moves are tiny. But when it moves $3, it's not really half of the move, it's only 50 cents, so you are actually 250 in the positive. So it can move. I was up on it over what, $19, maybe 15, I don't remember. But with 25 shares, that's almost $1 a share, right? So that gives you something, the perspective of how the stock can move. But I'm down on it. Well, I'm flat on it. I just gave back everything I gained. So nothing to cry. I'm still learning the stock. I'm just practicing the stock, and I'm kind of learning how the stock moves. Sometimes I just sit here, like for example, when I eat lunch, I would just sit there and watch level 2. How it moves for that specific stock, like the breakout points. I identified the points still in the chart, and I'm like, okay, when it's approaching that point, what does it do? What kind of scenarios does it play out? And so far, it's been difficult. So far, I don't have a grasp on it. So keep watching, keep learning. But I know I'm rambling a lot, and this recap is getting long. So yeah, 202 today. Not bad. Stay tuned for the evening talk. If you guys want to join, just come on in. Maybe have your beverage with you or whatnot. Just chill. Have me on the background or whatnot, how you like it. But yeah, guys, click a thumbs up, subscribe, and talk to you guys tomorrow.